Good afternoon. We're looking at Netflix, and what are we looking at is how to trade options. We're looking at the $255 put based on that Netflix here on the 3-minute chart that we have from Friday. We can clearly see that the next movement up is 258.72 at 1/8 and 260.18 at 1/4. That's $2.92 up above the floor. This is on a 3-minute level. What we are taking a look at on this level is where the stock had a big breakout, and that the breakout started right here and we went parabolically up. Let me draw the trend line so everybody can see where it started. It started with a gap. It never looked back, and we went straight up to the highs. There was an upgrade by Barclays that brought the price target up from 220 to 250. Well, I can tell you it's at the wall of resistance on Netflix. So when I take a look at a daily chart, this was a half delta. This was one full delta movement up. This is a daily breakout. The previous day, we were hitting bottoms at support here. We had a big up move, and then it dropped from the highs up here, about 247 and some change. It dropped $7 intraday, and it kept selling from the top down. And then on Friday, we went parabolically up in the system. And on a daily chart, one half delta is $4.19. So basically, by looking in the back end of our market maker platform, a half a delta up would be 263 on a half a delta movement. That's the daily bar on Netflix. The thing that we're going to be monitoring is why I would look at buying a 255 put intraday based on that overbought process of Netflix having a reversal. These contracts were $36 on July 1 for the put side, and they're a monthly regular contract, and they went all the way to $4.95. That is wholesale. If we gap up on Monday, which would be tomorrow, today's date is 7/14, we can clearly see that the 260 put was from $28 on the high, and this all happened on the week of, let's say it was 7/8, July 8th, $28 a contract. They were in the money on Netflix. When Netflix broke higher in our system, Netflix broke higher on the daily chart, is that this was in the money. Here's the daily breakout from 247.50 on the low end. That was a $10 breakout, part of that big movement down. That was a $260 put in the money. This is where we look at making our transactions. We're going to set alarms with our trader, because when Netflix hit that reversal, this is the best side of the market to look at. It's not the call side. The calls are just the opposite. They're way up here. If you take a look at a $250 call, it went from $1 to $10. This is a weekly one. If I show you on the daily, let's go to the daily. Now, this was a $250 call that was down here at $1. That went all the way up here to $6. Okay? That was on the calendar trading day, the lows and the highs. And so there's the 250 call. At the time, the 250 call was out of the money. So when we go to the $240 call, for Netflix, July, they were down here at $1, and they also went up to $8 on the high on the daily. So these are getting more in the inflated area, and that the call side has made a big move. That's a big move for those calls of the 245 when Netflix broke out on that daily chart last Friday. Bam, went up $10, and it was all weekly options Friday expiration. That's what this was all about. You can see it. The gap way up here is $13.70 on the 245 call. The 250 call is way up here at $10.95. That's why the 255 put comes into play, and the 260 put in the money comes into play, because this side of the market's deflated for our options trader. Once again, I'm going to conclude that the daily 52-week high on the Netflix name is right here in the MMT Market Maker app. That's a 52-week high. We can clearly see on the daily level that we had rallied every time up to highs in Netflix, and every time we get overbought, Netflix does come down. It came all the way from this high up here of about 247 and some change, where it took out this major engulfing bar daily move, is it went from 247, 248 all the way down here to slightly almost to 202. Then we gapped up and it sold back down to $210. So from 210 to 257, look at the math. Look at the dollar movement. It's overbought. It's time to look at getting net short. It has a history of pulling back. That means that the put side pays big money. I'm going to conclude the 52-week high on Netflix. I'm also going to conclude the 260 put regular monthly and the 255 in the video, and how we're going to make monumental money.